Hi y'all, Tracey, Trials of Long Haired Girl here, coming at you with a long overdue update. Um, but I kind of wanted to start at the beginning so you understand this a little better. Many of you know, I was a single parent. My son was born when I was just before I turned 20. So the ironic thing is, my mother, and I are all about 20 years apart. Not exact, but about 20 years apart. So I was working at a hotel and conference center. The hotel I was working for at the time was out by the lake. So as you may think, there wasn't a whole lot of business during the holiday season. So the first year it was fine. I was pregnant with my son. When I had to leave, things were pretty much slowing down anyway, and they were basically giving me hours. So blessedly, I had 3 to 6 months off. So that was 1990. When I went back in 1991, around probably spring break-ish, 1991, they were again basically giving me hours, but it was starting to pick up because people start trying to do things for spring break, etc., and then it's really busy in the summer. Fast forward, I went from that hotel position to another hotel position, to working as a security guard. Yes, I know. Doesn't look like something that I would do. I was there probably for a couple years. When I left that job, I don't remember exactly what happened, but anyway, when I was no longer working that job, I decided that I really had to find a way to either go back to school or find a position that I could support myself and my son. Because while my mother was a huge help, I knew she wasn't always going to be around. And my mother never wanted the life that she had for herself for me. She was a machine operator, but my mother was the first one in her family, like in her immediate family, to graduate high school, which was a big deal. But she never wanted that life for me because she was a machine operator and she just didn't want that for me, which I understand. Looking back at it now, I get it. She had worked on a line making payway bombs, which honestly, when we went to the Air Force Museum last year for our honeymoon anniversary, we stumped one of the docents because she thought they had them, but she didn't know where they were, and I found them, and just being real honest, it brought tears to my eyes. But I digress. I understand, when I graduated high school, I did not want to go back to school. I had gone to travel and tourism school, which was really cool, and I met an amazing friend while I was there who we recently reconnected, and I met her, or reconnected, with her in person at the same time, that same trip that I met Ken. So, which was amazing. It was almost like no time had passed. It was really awesome. But after doing that, I finally realized that I probably really wasn't going to find a good position that was going to pay well enough for me to support me and Jared if I didn't go back to school. I regret so much that I did not take at least one class, but anyway. So I started on that journey. I called the Department of Human Services, or that's what it was at the time. I called them because I'd heard about a program that would help me go back to school. I called them. It was very rare that somebody made contact with them. They normally made contact with the people to try to get them to do something. So I did that. I contacted another organization in our area at the time that would help pay for another part of my education. So between that, basically the state of Texas paid for my associate's degree. I took, it was then, I think it's changed, but then it was the TASP test, T-A-S-P. And I didn't pass all of it, which was very frustrating. And I had to take remedial classes to get me to where I needed to be. But the short version is basically I took all of my mandatory classes with approval from the president of the college to take additional classes during the summertime. But I managed to get my degree, my Associate of Applied Science, in a year and a half. So, sorry, I'm looking over at it. I actually have my degree on the wall. But I have my Associate of Applied Science. And I graduated in 1990. So, I graduated in May of 1996. I had an amazing instructor who taught the majority of my legal classes, Fred Romansky. He was I can't say he was necessarily retired. He was retired from practicing law. But he had been an attorney in, I believe, the state of Wisconsin. But he was an amazing teacher. He was very... in fact, when I went to the college to talk to them about going to college, I figured I would do office administration, and then I met Fred, and he changed the course of my college career. But he was very vocal about, taking the certification test and how much it would help your career. So a friend and I endeavored to do just that. We spent hours in the library at the college studying between classes, etc. And we went and sat for the test. Back then, it was a 2-day test, so my friend and I, we're just going to call her Elle because I no longer have contact with her to get her approval to use her name in my video or anything. So, but we got a hotel down here in Dallas because at the time you could take it down here. Elle and I had been studying for months. Sat for the test, and like I said, it was a 2-day test. You could only bring pencils and I think a bottle of water in with you, but you could not leave and re-enter the class or the testing area multiple times. So you tested for several hours, you got a break to go to the bathroom, etc. Then you came back in and tested for another couple of hours. And then you went home for the day, came back the next day, tested again. So at the time, you could choose your sections, and I chose my sections, and I think my sections and L's sections were not the same. But anyway, short version, I passed probably 80% of what I had taken, but I did not pass the judgment and analytical ability. And I sat for it again, but I was not prepared again, or not as prepared as I should have been. Did not have a full understanding. Mind you, this was long before YouTube, and it did not go well. So I went through many years, and I kept saying, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it. I told my husband, I'm going to sit for it. This is the year I'm going to sit for it. And each year would pass, and I didn't. And I would study occasionally, but not enough to put it out there to, go sit for my exam. Several years ago, and I think I mentioned this in a video because I used it kind of as my word of the year. My pastor several years ago had preached on fearless, or fearing less, that he pulled from Proverbs 29:25. And I think that really sparked in me the fact that if I didn't push through, if I didn't try again, that first of all, I'm failing and I'm letting fear control me. And I didn't want to do that. So I talked to my husband about it. And I kept saying, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it. I went through some of the review classes. I got together with a study group from the NALA virtual conference that I did in 2022. We got a group together, we talked, we kind of met up to talk about the chapters. But it was good kind of to have that camaraderie, to know that there were others studying along with me. But as some of you are aware, I finally sat. I had sat for the knowledge exam in December, because now it's 2 parts that you take on 2 days, but it's a shorter time frame. Like, I think each section of the test is 2.5, 3 hours. Or I should say 2 to 3 hours, both times. I sat for the knowledge exam in December of 2022. And I passed. And I was very excited. So, fast forward, I'm looking at my time frame, and it said, okay, let me pause for a second. They only allow you to take the skills exam like 4 months out of the year. Excuse me. So while I had 1 year from the date of my completion of the knowledge exam to take it, the last opportunity that I had to take it to be within my 1-year time frame was October 31st of 2023. So on October 31st, 2023, I took my test. And the ironic thing, I've said this to others in the NALA study group, not just my group, but there's like a web page that is for NALA study group for people all around the United States studying for their certification exam. And it was actually because of that I got word that my test our test results were in. But I sat for my exam, and it was not until I told Kim this over a girl on her phone. It was not really until the morning of that I felt like it clicked, that I knew what I was doing, that I felt confident that, whatever I did at the test, whatever I did on the test, I was either going to pass or I was going to fail. Those were my only two options. And then I would have to make the decision of, am I going to take it again? Or am I not going to take it again? And I'll be honest, those of you who have been around for a hot minute, you know I am a praying person. So I prayed all the way there. I didn't take anything in. I texted my guys and let them know that I was there, that I was going in. I turned my phone off, and I left it in the car. I locked it in my car. I went in with my driver's license and my key. That's all I had. Okay, so on the Facebook study group, somebody posted, hey, the October results are out. I am in my allergy doctor's office getting my shots, as I do every couple weeks, because I have severe allergies. I've been taking shots for a number of years, but anyway. There was the whole inner turmoil. Do I look or do I wait? Because if I look and I failed, I'm going to bust out bawling in the middle of my doctor's office. But I was so anxious and I wanted to know, so I looked. Needless to say, my allergy doctor and the nurse that wound up giving me my shots that day found out first that I passed my exam. My doctor was quite concerned about me because she did not know whether I was happy, whether something bad had happened. Because when she walked in, I was facing away from her. And I turned around when she asked if I was happy, and there were tears in my eyes. And so I did, in fact, pass. And received this in the mail. I don't think you can see it real well, but there you go. So I got it. After I received it, I had talked with a friend at church. And I thought, I'm already in the habit of studying. I've been pushing to get this done. While I'm at it, I might as well just go for my advanced certification. Because it will also help with my CLA credits. You have 1 year. You can start an ACP program and you have 1 year to complete it. I started mine, I believe I signed up for it on January the 2nd. I had it finished before February 1st. So, I am now an advanced certified paralegal as well as a certified paralegal. we got frames and we're going to take them and put them up at my office. But having said all that, honestly, I don't think that if my pastor had not spoke on that when he did, like that really just kind of planted a seed in my mind and in my heart that I needed to go ahead and do this. Because quite honestly, I think otherwise, if I had not gone ahead and done this, if I just kept saying I was going to do it, as I had so often before, that I would wind up on my deathbed regretting that I had never taken this step. But thankfully, that's not the case. But the other thing that I kind of wanted to share with you is my pastor that spoke about this to me. We, at my church, have started a YouTube channel. So if you are interested in hearing, if you are in the area and you don't have a home church, and the area being Allen, if you're in the area and you don't have a home church and it's within driving distance, we would love for you to be our guest. Otherwise, if you want to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, it's also on Facebook. It's Allen Life Chapel. And I believe I think we're the only one on YouTube under that. If you look up Allen Life Chapel, and it's ALLEN, it should pop up. But I did want to take a moment and thank my pastor for that sermon, because it really did plant a seed in my heart. If you're interested in going over and checking out our church service, it is at Allen Life Chapel on our YouTube channel. And I will actually come back with an update. I'm trying to figure out specifically where, or I should say what direction that my YouTube channel is going to go in. I think I've kind of been struggling since I've kind of moved to intuitive eating as to how to go about putting out content, since I'm no longer in that weight loss realm. Not that I don't want to lose weight, but I don't think that I should have guilt about eating any food. Anyway, that is all for me today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day and a wonderful week.